Hello fellow sim racers, and welcome to a type of video that I haven't really done in quite a while. I'm actually going to race a car for once. I'm going to be taking a look at the new Le Mans circuit for rFactor 2 in preparation for a race I'm taking part in tomorrow. So here we are in the McLaren 720S GT3 at Le Mans. GT3 cars aren't associated with the 24 Hours of Le Mans particularly, but they do take part in the Road to Le Mans race that happens over the same weekend. That's not why I'm driving this car today. That is because I'm taking part in a race department club race tomorrow, and there are LMP2, GTE and GT3 cars. Oh, there's a very slow Bentley on the inside there. There weren't any GTEs left, so I am stuck with, happy to be stuck with, the GT3. Thought I'd take the McLaren to represent Woking, which is just up the road from me, so a bit of local pride going on there. Got very slow tyres at the moment and a very, very slow pair of Bentleys in front of me that I'd really like to be done with. So I'm doing this video for two reasons. First of which is just to have an excuse to make a bit of content about the new Le Mans track for rFactor 2. Studio 397 have done an absolutely fantastic job. So I want to sort of spend a bit of time talking about that and just generally giving those guys some credit for a job very well done, as the huge gaggle of GT3 cars all getting stuck here. We've got a massive slipstream. This is going to get a bit interesting down. In fact, I'm going to already start to back out because give the Corvette a little bit of a tap. It was either that or be hit by the Bentley from behind, or at least that's how I'm justifying it to myself. We happy to not have Formula 1 stewards, as we've got that Bentley to our left. Can't take advantage of the Corvette's slipstream at the moment. Pretty action-packed first couple of corners, and, well, big long straight bits. It's Le Mans, it's all big long straight bits. Anyway, now I've got a third of a second to think, although the Corvette is starting to come back under braking, something the rFactor 2 AI is pretty good at. It's very, very late on the brakes. Get a great run off the corner there as this pair of 650Ss are sort of squabbling rather than worrying about their exit speed as things get a bit tight. We're going to have the inside for the run down to Mulsanne corner, and oh, there we go. I think I'm running a slightly lower downforce setup than, well, probably most of the AI, to be honest. Take a pretty gentle approach to Mulsanne for the first time, just so I can find where the limits are. I have done a practice race before this, so I should know what's going on, but still, no one likes having to restart the race because you've just missed a braking point at the first big braking point of the lap. So, the Le Mans circuit from Studio 397. I mean, I don't know what to say beyond they've absolutely knocked it out of the park. I spent, as a lot of you probably know if you've seen the videos, I spent, a fair amount of time here. 2 weeks ago I went to Le Mans on the Tuesday and stayed all the way to Monday, so I spent 6 days at the circuit, around the circuit. Ooh, try and avoid getting on the curb on the entry to Arnage there. Terrible idea. But I spent 6 days at the circuit, spent time at various points around it, and two things they've got absolutely right. First of all, they've managed to nail the atmosphere, something that very rarely happens in sim racing tracks. That you expect them to be accurate these days, particularly with laser scanning and everything else. So we get a little bit of oversteer through the first part of the Porsche curves. Yeah, you expect them to be accurate, but honestly, sometimes they're lacking in atmosphere, and you could not accuse this track of lacking some of the real-world feel of the Le Mans race, and that's so much of Le Mans is the atmosphere. And the other thing they've managed to do well is just capture lots of detail. I mean, just look at this. Everything from the outside of the track, in particular, the cranes, the different types of fencing, the spectators, the grandstands are absolutely heaving, which I must admit they weren't for the Road to the Le Mans race, but rFactor doesn't know what kind of race I'm doing right now, so I'll let them off there. The Le Mans Museum in the background on the left there, this is an obvious passion project. I know the Studio 397 guys have been working on this for a couple of years now, so it's not a piece of content they've just sort of quickly bashed out. And, you know, you can tell that. I think my only criticism is, you know, that bank on the left there coming into the S's, it's just a bit busier, particularly on race day. Yeah, I think that's the only criticism I can really come up with. I'm sure there's some sort of technical stuff that could be perhaps done a little bit better as I leave a bit of time on the table through Tertre Rouge there. Got a nice tow again. There's just so many GT3 cars here. And 14th place, might be able to get a couple here with the run we've managed to get. So we can slot in behind that weird liveried AMG. Might have to do this under braking. It's the can't even remember what the car on the left of me was. I think it was another McLaren. Oh no, definitely not. As he comes back at me, do we get a better run off the corner? Yeah, only just. But I'll take only just. See if we can just slide across, grab a bit of the tow from the AMG and see what happens. I'm running the AI at 115%. I did knock them down a few percent just so we can make sure we actually had a decent race. Only doing 3 laps here, so... Well, 3 laps is still 12 minutes, and, you know, asking people to watch a guy play pretend race cars for more than sort of 10, 12 minutes is asking a lot. The race tomorrow is a 2-hour event, or hour and 46 minutes, I forget. I should really know that. That's the thing I should definitely look at, because I think it's going to be really marginal on being able to one-stop it on fuel, actually, so I need to do a proper race sim to make sure I can slot in behind the 650S. Oh, get a bit of a tap from the green world's fastest gamer McLaren there. Not something you want leaning on you as you come into Mulsanne corner, or anywhere else really, if I'm going to be entirely honest. I think that's what you get if you spend more time talking than paying attention to your mirrors. So yeah, I've spent a bit of time over the last few days working on the setup of this car. It's not perfect. As oh, that McLaren has some brave stuff. What I was about to tell you, as I left room on the outside that it turns out I didn't need there, what I was about to tell you is I've developed what I think is a pretty reasonable low downforce setup. It feels fantastic through 95% of the course. It definitely feels fast. I feel like I'm on tiptoes through that right-hand kink before Indianapolis there, so I have to back off probably a little bit more than some other people, but I still think I'm getting the lap times. Obviously that's not showing up because I'm racing the AI at the moment, but I'm pretty comfortable with the car everywhere in that but that right-hand kink, and through the Porsche curves. If I do anything but the most gentle control inputs, with the field of view as it is on this monitor, you can't really see how I'm being with the wheel, but I'm trying my hardest to be as smooth as possible, because as soon as you start sliding the car at all, the rears just overheat massively, you lose grip, and then it becomes a sort of drift show. As the 650S in front is aptly demonstrating. The GT3s in rFactor 2 do seem a bit slidey for my liking. I don't know if that's just this particular low downforce setup. Haven't been driving a lot of rFactor the last few months because I've been sort of focused on ACC. As that gets a bit slidey just as we start braking for the Dunlop chicane. Yeah, I've been driving a lot of ACC, so where GT3 cars are pretty planted, and they, when you look at them on track, they behave in a similar way to the cars in the Real Blancpain series look. Whereas these cars feel great, they're really alive, they're really exciting to drive, but watching them slide their way through corners and stuff just doesn't quite feel right to me. Feels the wrong word, because it feels great. I mean, these are really engaging, fun cars to drive. It just looks wrong. I'm sure plenty of people will put me in my place and tell me why I'm wrong about that, but that is what it is. Up to 8th. I think we're on our last lap now. If I was paying more attention to the race engineer, I'd probably be able to tell you that. Or even if I looked up at the the hub at the top of the screen. Lap 2.3 out of 3, yeah. Podium was sort of never really going to be on the cards with this one, I don't think, but see if we can't get a couple more places before the end of the lap. Feels good to be doing a race video again. I haven't done one of these for ages. Even if times are a bit slow because I'm having to fight my way through the pack. This has been a nice bit of prep, actually. Haven't really done a lot of driving against the AI. Oh my god, that's a slow, slidey McLaren on the exit of the chicane there. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of AI racing in my prep for this race tomorrow for over at Race Department, so maybe I should go and do a longer one, actually. Just been doing boring tyre stuff and a bit of setup work. I love how aggressive you can get through Mulsanne Corner. So, 7th place, 0% chance of rain, that's good, because no one wants that. Oh, that's another point, I haven't done any wet running. I've still got 24 hours, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. So yeah, if you want to watch the race tomorrow, it's like, whoa, really mess things up going down into Indianapolis. So I was trying to remember whether the race was streamed on Twitch or on YouTube. But yeah, if you want to watch the race tomorrow, I think Race Department is streaming it on their Twitch channel, which is racedepartment.com for... I don't know, it's Twitch, Race Department, you can find it. You're internet savvy people, you know where those things are. Yeah, find the details on Race Department, because it turns out I can't remember any pertinent details. And my brain is quite occupied with the back of this McLaren. And the back of the McLaren in front of me as well. I think as the tyres have warmed up on the rears, you need to move the brake balance forwards a bit. I'm not going to bother now because we've only got 3 corners left. So we exit the Porsche curves, do the Corvette curves for the last time. See if we can't grab a couple more... Well, a couple more positions is probably a little bit... See if we can't throw a cheeky one up the inside. That was much more successful than it probably should have been, actually. There we go. 3 laps of Le Mans in the McLaren 720S. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would be great if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can see more content like this in the future. So all that's left to say is goodbye, thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.